Hello and welcome. My name is Sean Apollo Clark, and with me as always, partner in crime, it is of course James Colaris Carroll, and we are here for the last day of Season 2, the Premier League Round of 32. The last day is finally here.
And we've already had 7 of the groups unfold here in the round of 32. A through G have already happened in the past 3 weeks, but now here in the final week, we have Group H, and the final group to determine those last 2 spots in the round of 16.
And well, looky here is the round of 16. By the end of this evening, we will have filled up the 4 slots within the 4 different groups. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the players that have already made their way through into the round of 16. And then at the end of the list, the TBD, to be determined. 2 players left to fill 16. And as mentioned, we will fill that bracket by tonight. It's going to be a good one.
Certainly is. But before we get to that, guys, we have today's group, Group H, here to determine those last 2 spots, as we have Happy, Todd, Sort of, and TitaN playing things out here. And firstly, we've got to start with Happy, an absolute Russian menace who is the most notorious player to play against when it comes to that ladder.
He's the monster of the group. He's the favorite to take first place. In Season 1, was incredibly close to a top 4 finish to represent Europe at the Season 1 Grand Finals. He is unbreakable in the early stages of any StarCraft game. He's so solid with his build. He's got incredible defense, and he's going to be difficult to stop today. He's definitely looking to repeat his success from Season 1, that top 8 finish, almost representing Europe.
Yeah, extremely strong performances by Happy, but then we have a second player with strong performances rising up through the ranks in the form of Todd, representing France and XMG, looking to turn some heads.
He really is. I mean, no one can argue this. He really is playing some of the best StarCraft we've seen him play since forever, since joining StarCraft 2. He for sure, though, in the past struggled against TitaN and Zergs in Wings of Liberty, but has somehow, someway found magic within Heart of the Swarm, has got fantastic results leading in to him being within the Premier League today, beating the likes of Stardust, the most recent DreamHack champion, Bratok, Soke, Slivko, and then finally the icing on the cake was the Thorzane win to push him into where he is today. He's on top of that, he's had back-to-back results at DreamHack and Home Story Cup with the round of 16 finishes. That's impressive. He's one of 3 challenges, though, today, to take a second place over that favorite Happy.
Yeah, one of those second challenges, we do have Sort of representing Sweden and the Alliance. In the round of 32 last season, kind of bombed out. Not exactly the same as Todd's amazing rise.
Yeah, I mean, Sort of, he had a smashing 2012 with a really fast climb up the ranks of respected players. In 2013, though, he just hasn't quite had the same results yet. Last season, he finished and dropped out incredibly fast in the round of 32. Today, though, I mean, like other players, he's playing from Korea. This is something that could increase the chances of him finishing in the round of 32 again. He needs to pull something out of the bag. He needs to prove his worth here in the Premier League.
And then our final spot, we have TitaN, arguably one of the biggest wild cards here in this group, representing Russia and Rock's Kiss.
Yeah, I mean, TitaN's a very hit-and-miss player. Very similar to Liquid Ret, but not as extreme as that.
Yeah.
Sometimes he plays like he could be one of the best European Protoss players. Other times, not so much. So I'm really unsure of what this is. Is it practice? Is it motivation? Is he not understanding how the game should be played? But he's the last piece of the puzzle to complete this group. Another challenger that really is going to rival that slot to go through in second place.
And he'll be playing the first match. Second match will be Todd versus Sort of. But just in case you don't know how dual tournament format works here, upper bracket winners will play off against one another for that first round of 16 spot. And then the losers from the upper bracket will fall down to the lower to determine who will advance onto the round of 16 when they have to play the loser from the upper bracket. So, without further ado, guys, we have our first game on the way here for Group H. It's going to be a Russian clash of the Titans in the form of Happy versus TitaN. And this is a repeat here of WCS, the Russian Federation Nationals.
Yeah, which TitaN won the last time they played. He's been playing really well again recently. Like I mentioned earlier, he is a little bit hit or miss. Sometimes he's playing well, sometimes not. But in the very recent times, he managed at the top of the list there to qualify for the Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai tournament, going through an incredible list of different players, ranging from all types of skills. Even though he's inconsistent, maybe he's playing well at the moment. And we'll have to see that because last season he finished low, Can he do better this season?
And then our second player, we have Empire Happy. Again, an absolute menace. When it comes to online play, it's his comfort zone.
Yeah, it's definitely his comfort zone, man. If major tournaments were played online, I think Happy would be the richest StarCraft 2 player of all time. But, you know, this round is online, though, so bear that in mind.
Yeah.
But when it comes to playing offline, not got the best results, but still, in Season 1, he got that top 8 finish. So close, narrowly losing out to Demaga in a game that everybody thought Happy would crush through. Somehow Demaga find a way to push him out and keep him down from representing Europe. Happy, though, is definitely up there with Lucifron for, you know, best European Terrans. Between the two of them, I'd say that Lucifron is #1 and Happy's #2.
And now the countdown's already begun here to jump into our first game. Belshir Vestige is the map. These guys so surprisingly close in terms of results in the past. Again, one only need to think back to the WCS Russian Federation Nationals, where we actually saw Happy knock TitaN down to the lower bracket, then TitaN rise back up through the ranks to take that title there. So, and in map scores, it's like 13 wins to Happy, 12 wins to TitaN. Very, very close, but Happy's been on another level as of late.
Yeah, I mean, in Heart of the Storm, it's a new game. It's a fresh start for everybody that's playing at the moment. And, you know, a lot of those results were back from Wings of Liberty when that tournament was played. But here today is a fresh slate, a clean slate for both of these players to just go at it. If we look at both of their styles, Happy, super solid macro player, will play the long game if he can, and he definitely will try to do that, with a super solid defense, where TitaN can be complicated with the strategies he likes to try to develop.
And we do have, now spawning up at the top left-hand corner here as our blue Protoss. He is Rock's Kiss TitaN. And spawning down to the bottom right as our red Terran. He is none other than Empire Happy.
Empire Happy, definitely for me at least, I don't know if you want to disagree with me at home or you disagree with me, for me, the favorite here of the group.
Oh, yeah.
I see this guy just going 2-0, 2-0. Good luck, you come into Cologne, Germany, into the round of 16.
It's going to be difficult for these challengers here to rise up to the challenge of Happy. Again, I have to go back to the results that they had amongst one another, which was the fact that Happy and TitaN, in that WCS Russian Federation Nationals, TitaN, his number was had there by Happy. Happy was able to play those games very, very nicely, but TitaN adapted throughout the series and then was able to vanquish him. So if TitaN can somehow muster up that adaptation once again, maybe there is a shot for him. But Happy is so stable right now.
Yeah,
so stable.
He's so stable, and the only thing that really keeps him back is maybe sometimes he gets butterflies, and, you know, anything like that can really hinder his progression. But playing online, that's something which shouldn't occur today.
Well, we'll see here. TitaN now opening up with Gateway in base, and nothing too fancy from him. Meanwhile, we have Happy also going for just the barracks, and no gas has been taken just yet. So I won't be surprised if Happy goes for a very, very economical macro focus with a command center going down pretty early. But Happy in the past actually went for kind of a lot of Banshee play. In Wings of Liberty especially, went for a lot of Banshee aggression.
His recent style, though, is definitely focused on greed, but with a good balance of defense. So I'm expecting, if not, you know, just one barracks command center, which is what it's lining up to be, 3 command centers. 3 command centers could very easily come down here by Happy. A build that we saw 4GG use yesterday to great effect.
Oh, yeah.
We saw what it gave him. The sudden, you know, major increase in economy, which enabled him to be at 8 barracks at the 10-minute mark, compared to 3, if not just building the 4th and 5th, if you hadn't have got that 3rd command center. But in sacrifice of defense, of course, to be able to do that, it is a little bit risky.
Yeah, it is. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Happy continued this trend throughout the series that we see him against Protoss here today. And in turn, because these players know each other so well, I wouldn't be surprised if TitaN, for example, watched replays after each of these games saying, where are your trends happening here, Happy? Well, he goes for the engineering bay block. That's an annoyance, but he did produce the Zealot first, so should be able to shut that down a bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to affect him at all here. It usually would affect if there wasn't a Zealot, for example, but with double gas being taken from TitaN here, he can't get the Nexus down anyway.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of Chrono Boost into the Nexus and the Cybercore here, or not the Cybercore, but mostly the Nexus. So with all the Chrono Boost stayed in the Nexus, he's not going to be able to really speed up any upgrade, for example. He can, though, with the double gas. be able to throw down a tech structure. He's mining 3. He's already got 150 gas banked up. Is that a sentry? Okay, it is going to be... No, it's not okay, TitaN. It's going to be a Stalker. A Stalker, obviously, a lot faster, costs more minerals, but keeps his gas banked up. He's at 180 already.
Yeah, so he certainly has the opportunity to do something with that. Meanwhile, back at home for Happy, he's adding on his gas geysers, getting his macro flowing as best he can do. This is a very, very typical and standard build here from Happy at the very beginning of this group. And there is that robo facility.
I mean, you know, TitaN is nothing but a smooth criminal sometimes. Just throwing down the robotics facility just straight out. Doesn't necessarily need to do anything too risky, too dangerous. Robotics facility is fine at this point. Just super standard play, sentry out a little bit later, which means he won't be able to use hallucinated Phoenix, for example, as scout, which is what Happy's waiting for inside the main base. And of course, a potential Oracle or whatnot. Yep. He has no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
but he has opened 3 barracks, not 3 command centers.
Yep, so just playing that little bit more of a defensive focus here. The stim is now on the way as well for Happy. And those 2 gateways being added on at the back here for TitaN as well. So I'm curious to see what TitaN's going to do in terms of when he actually transitions onto a 3rd base, if he wants to put some gateway aggression on, because in the past, TitaN has gone for quite a bit of gateway aggression. There's a scan somewhere. Inside
the main base reveals the mothership core. Doesn't quite see the gateways, but sees the robotics facility building something. But this looks very normal. It's not fast gateways. It's not any other tech apart from the robotics facility. Can't be Twilight Council and Robo. Can't be Stargate and Robo. So it's only ever going to be here, a robotics facility into robotics bay, or robotics facility into a Twilight Council looking to get to Templar Archives, 2 higher tech structures. This means Happy doesn't need to worry about any form of defense early on. It could be, I suppose, an immortal push, but that's unlikely here.
Yeah, if it was, I think that in the end, Happy would be pretty unbreakable, I would say. He would normally sniff that kind of thing out and actually crush that. He's very, very well capable of actually defending those kinds of things, and, well, TitaN was checking down to his 3rd, taking his gases as well, and there is an Immortal in production. Yeah, an Immortal in production, but the robotics bay on the way, which is the kind of the key here. And with all 4 gases being taken now for TitaN, he will start to be able to research, you know, the first Colossus, or I mean, research the Mars, get the first Colossus. But here's the first bit of intel for the entire of the game that TitaN's been able to find out. He pokes in and sees, okay, this is a 1 barracks command center into 3 barracks, then factory and engineering bay, whatnot. And at the same time, spots these Marines in the middle, so he should be perfectly fine on his defense. Should be. Those sentries will help him out.
Should be able to kill every... Oh! Just about. I mean, that should have been only 2 force fields to kill those. But he spent 4, double the amount to get a decent amount. Yeah. Not the best, but that was okay. Still killed a lot.
Little speed in his step there to just try and kill off those. Interesting choice, Gravatic boosters. I've seen a few Russian Terrans, Protoss even, actually do this. Empire Sioux comes to mind, who was using speed observers to keep an eye on medevacs. Even when they boost away, you still actually keep the observer in range of the medevac, so they still keep following.
Yeah, the funny thing is about TitaN, before the real action starts here, he's not a player that watches Korean VODs and tries to learn from Koreans. He has his own style, his own builds, and just does what he likes, what he thinks is good. This seems to be one of those things.
Well, unfortunately for him right now, this medevacs are going to go unnoticed, although he has positioned himself very, very nicely here to deny the initial drop. Should have... Oh, it does barely not have seen this.
Oh, he's moving out, but he should be absolutely fine here. This shouldn't take any losses at all.
Picks up, runs away, good to go. TitaN, good little positioning there, and he's taking his 3rd behind this. Did he know? He doesn't know about his opponent's 3rd.
No, but it's not so important because that 3rd is coming down anyway, no matter if he sees it or not. The question is, what does Happy see? Because Happy, that's an early 3rd base, and he has no idea. If this 3rd base is allowed to go uncontested, this is going to fuel up TitaN to be a much stronger player within the next, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes once it gets probes over there. But where is Happy now going? He's coming to the right-hand side. Even though he's got these units, unless TitaN's out of position, he's not bringing down that 3rd base. In return of getting that faster 3rd base, he did not get the forges early. So he can never take a fight until he's much, much later on in this game. Yeah, certainly kind of being a bit more reliant on that macro focus. As the scan runs out, another observer appears to trail these medevacs. Again, this is a Russian special. Me and Todd, we cast Sioux last season, and he was using this Gravatic booster observers to great effect.
And now, well, unless it gets sniped out again, it will be very, very helpful. But Happy seemed to be on top of things, spotting that first one.
Scan goes down
Sees it
just
again.
to reveal another observer. Great pick up there, and he, well, I say pick up of the observer, then he picks up his units. As he's going straight towards the main base, the observer does spot it there. So we should be able to defend this. And Probe would go underneath it as well.
His army's moving way out of position. He doesn't really have that much there.
Well, he has a Photon Overcharge and a Colossus with Warp Innards available. But so far, so good for TitaN. You can see that his early third is now really starting to pay off. It's now a couple of minutes past. He's got his gases down there. He's got 1-1 on the way. His Zealot charge is able to afford. He's got 400, 500 gas in the bank. This is fantastic. Because at this point, you don't really spend that much gas. What are you spending gas on?
Nah.
You don't really have gas-intensive units. What do you get? Sentries? No. You don't build sentries at this point. You're going to be building or looking forward to get 2-2. The Templar Archives is going to come down much faster than it would do usually because he has that gas available. This is a good situation for TitaN to be in.
Yeah, very good indeed. Another scan goes down on another observer, no less. So 3 have already gone down to scans. But yet more are going to move into position for TitaN to try and keep an eye on his opponent. He's still producing more. So TitaN really, really focusing on the information that he can gather during this game just to keep his defenses super tight before his opponent's army even reaches his doorstep.
I think that one point we should really, well, I want to try and bring out, and I hope it doesn't take too much time to do so, but these players know each other very, very well.
Yes.
One of Happy's style is make sure I don't die early into macro. The making sure I don't die early part, sometimes he doesn't go through command center. Sometimes he adds additional bunkers. Sometimes he's over safe with scans, for example. SCV's moving out. And that slows him down. When you slow yourself down and then your own opponent takes a faster third nexus, that really emphasizes that deficit of where they should be and where they are currently. And because of how this game shaped out, I believe that TitaN really gets how Happy plays and said he's not going to be too aggressive. He's going to be kind of, mildly defensive. Let's take an early third base and run that risk and make sure that it really does push my advantage in the mid game. And that's kind of how it shaped up so far.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, Happy, whilst he's macroing up, he likes to find those little angles to drop into, but TitaN's given him no opportunity to whatsoever. He's always seen where this army is in the middle of the map. He has replenished this observer 5 or 6 times.
Well, he had that early third base, man. He's had so much gas so early on that he's been able to, but these Vikings do poke forward. Usually Happy finds weaknesses in the mid game, finds holes, finds a place he can drop.
Exactly.
To kind of draw the game up, if not give him an edge, because he's so defensive early on. But that's not the case in this game, is it? I mean,
no, exactly.
TitaN's rushing to 200 supply. He's got a counter-attack going on as well.
Yeah, he's moving into the middle of the map whilst all of this is going on, so he's going to try and exploit Happy to the best of his abilities. Those Hellbats do push him away there, down to the bottom left-hand corner. And another scan, perfect scan, reveals exactly where his opponent's army is.
Yeah, I mean, it's always annoying for a Protoss player when the Terran always kind of knows in his mind this is how the Protoss player should be moving. Rats. I've been caught out again. Because you're always looking to get position as a Protoss player. Maybe you can catch your opponent out of position. Another observer is with that army, so he sees exactly where he can and cannot go.
It's as if he has Revelation without having Revelation.
Yeah. Well, there is a turret being built there, which will that eliminates the observer and also eliminates DTs. Because it is coming to the part of the game where a Protoss player would be looking to take a 4th base, which I think should happen soon from TitaN. And then, of course, he gets even more gas, which where DTs can come in from.
Zealot's trying to move into that location, but no, the observer dies off. He knew where the opponent's army was, and now he's going to try and strike the 3rd base.
Yeah, if he gets force fields on that ramp to prevent him coming down.
This is going to be a bit bad here for Happy. Ooh, throws one down, realizing that maybe he doesn't want to push into it. That's a well-fortified location.
Decent
nice storm.
Yeah, decent storm doing a lot of damage there across all these Vikings, but Happy's setting himself up to play long-term here, get an extra 2 command centers, which are going to be to continue to scan a lot more. Scan's very important to see the army or where High Templar are. And look at this, TitaN moving on the left-hand side with his army, kind of hoping for a distraction to get these Zealots to do something.
Seemingly it's not working just yet, though.
No.
Oh, he's moving out of position, and he could throw down those force fields if he wants to, but once again, TitaN not comfortable in actually doing so.
All right, well, this game's been really close here. No one really looking to take a big fight. EMPs could go off there. Colossus do move forward to try to target down the Ghost if they were out of position a little bit too far forward. But yeah, macro game, toe-to-toe, no blows. I mean, the units lost tab, what's that show? Nothing? I mean, 3,000 resources in a game this long is really nothing. It's already, what, 20 minutes almost?
Yep, pretty much. And still, TitaN keeping an eye on his opponent's army. He knows that there isn't a fourth base going up at any time here because he has Pylon over to the left, he has his Zealots over to the right. Technically hasn't sent one up, but he's known that no SCVs have gone down there just yet. And good upgrades behind this as well. Extra starports being added on for Happy.
Yeah.
The only thing, I mean, TitaN's playing this out in a very, very macro focus himself as well, but Happy can be scary when he gets his kind of exclusively Ghost Viking compositions going. So it's going to be interesting to see how TitaN's going to deal with something like that.
One thing that TitaN's really doing is zoning him out from taking a fourth base.
Yeah.
You know, he's moving down to the third, not letting him take the left base. Zealot's always on the right-hand side. He's basically saying, come up to the high ground a lot of the time here. And Happy's not really been doing that because it's very difficult to go up to the high ground when there's storm and force fields around.
It's funny how he's had so many observers this game, but he can't actually see those ghosts that landed some great EMPs. The Vikings move on forwards as well here to kill off the Colossi. Some storms have hit, but in the end, there's a lot of fire that's still been retained. He didn't have an observer with this army until at the very end of the engagement.
Yeah, and I'd say, well, with that storm, that kind of changes things. Both those two storms, and now TitaN should be able to wipe this up with a bunch of Zealots being reinforced. A lot of storms coming down. The supply is so equal, yet TitaN does push that back. But remember the key factor. There is not a fourth base for Happy. There is for TitaN.
Just units absolutely everywhere here. Kills off a Warp Prism, realizing that that's a high priority target. And TitaN right now, he has control of this map. His army, very, very significant here in terms of advantage. And look at the bank he has right now.
Yeah.
Almost 5,000 minerals.
Happy needs a fourth.
Yeah.
He's got a command center. He needs to go take it, and he needs to start to establish himself on this right-hand side of the map. Otherwise, he's going to start to run dry very, very soon. There was a fifth base attempt coming down here by TitaN, but what's going to take TitaN to victory here is going to be the bank. It is going to be the amount of money that he has to reinforce double robotics facility coming in, saying, you know what's better than building one Colossus?
Three is pretty good. 3 is pretty good, man. Happy here. Right now, I mean, being on 3 bases and having the gas that he has, when TitaN is on 4 bases and has the gas income that he has, it's really, really difficult to balance your army to deal with so many Colossus and the High Templars that can come out as well. Happy's in a bit of trouble.
Well, he's spent a lot of his money. He's only down to 300 or 400 minerals. As you can see in the top right now, that's not going to be enough to keep up reinforcing the army. So the army that he has right now is decently sized. Great. But does he have the money to rebuild it if he loses or takes an equal traded fight? An equal traded fight is the key here, because if they both trade off, of course, there's 3,600 in the bank with a 5th base coming down. Very surprising there's no attempt to actually take a 4th base still. Like, that command center is still there. There's nothing on the left-hand side. A cannon and a High Templar, why the hell not?
When those drops come, man, they are going to get slaughtered, unfortunately. Just SCV's being sacrificed everywhere. I think that Happy might be just resigning himself to the fact that he can't take the 4th base and try and make it play out, but that's so hard against what TitaN has right now. He's always going to have the ability to replenish. There's just more gateways littering the map. This is tough.
Yep, sacrificing his SCVs there will increase his army's strength, so maybe he doesn't need to take an equally traded fight. Maybe he takes one big one and wins it convincingly, takes a second one and wins it convincingly, but in the middle of the map, there seems to be a bit of a standoff with a couple of units here. That drop goes down, will slow and cancel the 5th. As it wasn't really cancelled, but it doesn't really matter at this point when you've got 6,000 minerals in the bank.
Yep, he's happy to sit back on his 4 bases as well. TitaN's... The 5th base is a luxury, is the best way to put it here. Happy now, trying to find a way to do some damage, but it's really not happening at this point. He's got a lot of good upgrades going, and his army supply is technically far superior to TitaN's. I imagine the army value as well here is going to be superior by quite a margin.
Oh, look at that, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the key to victory for Happy lies.
Yeah.
And it's underneath the rock and the cave, covered in seaweed because it's on the ocean, underneath a waterfall. But it really is going to be just about a big, well-constructed fight. Like, it needs one of those guys in the orchestra with the little needle thing.
The composer.
The composer.
That guy.
Right, TitaN, no, Happy needs to compose his army with a stick.
With a stick.
He needs to become a composer if he wants to win this.
Yeah, he does. This is, it's going to be tough. Again, TitaN right now is playing this out fabulously. it's really, really difficult here for Happy to actually gain traction because every time, well, the one time he's tried to claim a 4th base, he got blocked by a pylon and then a few units came along and said, no, no, beat it.
Yeah, sometimes just beat it.
Oh well, TitaN here, now moving on forwards, trying to find a spot, trying to find the way to actually find a position here. I don't even think he's even going to. This is difficult. He gets the 5th base again, but...
I mean, I just feel right now Happy is just a stranger in Moscow because it's so difficult to get in a fight.
He can't do it. He cannot do it. The Zealots charging forwards here. Vikings have killed off a lot of this, but at the same time, the Storms go down. They don't actually connect too well with this bio, and he should be able to push on forwards. TitaN's bank has got to pay for itself now. He's got to replenish.
Well, the smart thing that he's doing is building 3 Colossus at a time, because the 3 Vikings you see are just super low red health.
Yeah.
3 Colossus at a time, backed up by a bunch of Zealots to protect them here. So now it's like a race against time for Happy. He needs to kind of kill off his opponent to a certain extent before that big army comes in.
Yeah, look at the income right now for Happy. In comparison to TitaN, it's not good here for Happy. This army has to be super, super efficient. Units lost, it's been it's so even. You need to be far more efficient than Happy is currently being.
This game, man, it's... I guess there's really only one word to describe this game, Claris.
Yeah?
It's such a thriller.
Yeah, I would go as far to say that as well here. Happy trying desperately here to make this work out. He hasn't exactly been able to do the harassment he needs, but if he can kill with this army, he might have a shot.
Well, he does march forward here. 140 supply to 186. The Colossus, though, watch the Colossus. As long as they dodge their... how many Colossus are there? Do you know?
Units, we have 3.
3 is good enough. It's not the magic number, but that's enough.
Not quite, yeah. There's 21 ghosts out right now. This is where Happy feels most comfortable. Of course, he would like Vikings as well, and having to long distance from his 4th base is not necessarily the best use of that, but tries to push him for the fight once again. EMPs are going to ravage this army if he's not careful. TitaN has to be very, very precise.
Oh, the ghosts do get cloaked up here, but look at the amount of damage being dealt by TitaN. He smashes through everything here. With the Colossus still at the back, he's still at 153 supply. Granted, it's a lot probed, so it is kind of equal, but more Colossus coming in every single time.
Yeah, the Observer. Oh, it moves too far forwards. He still can't see these units if they actually cloak up there. And they do once again, but there's not really that many of them left.
It's
well,
like
16.
an army fighting money. You know, just like this one army to go the distance in the year 2014.
In the year 2014.
But money rules everything.
Yeah.
You know, it runs the world, you know, makes the world turn. Because right now, TitaN's at 122 supply compared to 54.
Army supplies are similar, but
look at the worker supplies at 6.
Exactly. He's.
I didn't even know it was that low. That's why I was like, he's 150 supply to 100, but he's got 6 workers.
He sacrificed so many of them, and then that Zealot harassment at the very end, killing off a few more here as well, whilst these engagements going up to the top left. TitaN is on fire right now.
He's never had a 4th base.
Yeah.
Happy. He's always tried.
GG. Wow. What a game.
All right. I, for one, maybe with a couple of others out there, expected Happy to go 2-0-2-0, you know? And that wasn't the case here, Claris. That's not the case, because TitaN's taken the first game.
And a little bit of an upset here in the first game, you're right. But TitaN played that out very, very smartly and very strategically, playing to how Happy usually plays.
Yeah. That was, I mean, TitaN, I think, set himself up really well to play the rest of the game. And then it was such a unique approach from Happy to say, well, I'm not really going to do anything else apart from build this army up. I'm going to sack all my SCVs. I'm going to build this one big army. And hopefully I take a fight and I can keep beating your reinforcements down until he wins the game.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't. So going on to game number 2 here, what map do we have? It looks like we may have Whirlwind as the second map. Newkirk is the map that's left over in these 3 maps. And we do indeed have our invite to Whirlwind. So I think that, again, both players can play very greedy. It's Whirlwind. It's a giant map, especially if you're spawning cross positions. There is a lot of room for doing that. Yeah. I think Happy probably will lean to that once again. But TitaN, again, as I said previously, he is able to adapt to his opponent if he wants to. And it seems that he's researched Happy quite well here. He could take this series pretty convincingly if he plays like he did in Game 1.
I think he could. And that's the kind of inconsistent player that TitaN is. Sometimes he looks great, sometimes not. Hopefully that inconsistency doesn't happen during the day. Hopefully it's over a longer period of tournaments and games and matches, days that he has to play. Because it would be nice to see him make his way through this group, kind of beating the odds a little bit. I don't think there's too many people that said, I think top 2 is X and TitaN, or TitaN and X. Don't think too many people have said that, but it could be a reality later on.
All right, so now game number 2 on the way. The countdown has begun here. Will TitaN actually be able to pull this off? Will he go 2-0? It's going to be pretty cool if he does. A lot of people did not expect this.
I didn't expect it.
No, nor did I. Nor did I.
All right, well, we'll see if Happy can make the comeback. It would be an interesting run this season, wouldn't it? Of all the people that made it to the round of 8, like one made it through again.
Yeah.
MVP.
If Happy goes out, it'd be the 5th player in the round of 8 to not be in top 16. Crazy, crazy stuff. But anyway, spawning up to the top left-hand corner here as our blue Terran representing Empire. He is Happy. And spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner here as our red Protoss representing Rock's Kiss. He's looked behind the mask of Happy. He is TitaN.
All right, let's find out what TitaN does in this game. Do you know what I'd love to see? Do you know what I'd love to see? Nexus first.
Nexus first?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool choice here, actually.
Well, Nexus first, I think, is you can just get away with it.
Yeah. And I think in the end here, won't be surprised if Happy just decided... Actually, no, I think he's going to go Barracks before Command Center. I don't think he would actually deviate.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Well, Happy is the kind of guy that goes one build to rule them all, but this is maybe the exception because Whirlwind is such a good map to go Command Center first, but there it is.
Yeah, throwing that Barracks down here. Happy, far content here to actually go for that kind of build. And it looks like you are going to get your wish here, Sean. Going to get us some Nexus first. Yum, yum.
Yeah, baby. Coach Apollo's back in action. Baby Knight, listen up. Listen up, my friend.
One day, Baby Knight's going to listen to you, and then...
He's going to win a tournament.
Yep, is that how Go, Baby Knight.
One day.
We know you're listening, Baby Knight.
Coach Apollo's back in business. Actually, I spoke to Baby Knight today. I don't think he's watching this group.
Oh, no, really? Oh, there's a lot of Protoss here.
Actually, no, that was Mana. I spoke to Mana isn't watching. Baby Knight, maybe.
Are all Protoss players the same? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I actually feel that the general consensus is that this is a group where Happy's going to go 2-0, and then it's like Todd's going to advance. Like, there's not too much like, this is a sick group. Just, I guess the biggest reason for that is because TitaN is such an inconsistent player, and sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. And then Sortov is playing from Korea, which does make things a little bit difficult.
All right, well, Happy now. He's going to scout around clockwise, so eventually he will catch his opponent as he has spawned cross. It would be so strange for him to actually scout cross straight away unless he was doing some wonky build like we kind of see TitaN doing those in DreamHack. I think it was probability builds that we saw. Or was that Home Story Cup that TitaN was doing that?
I think it was Home Story, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so. I'm not sure exactly.
Those were fun, man, the probability builds. But oh well.
I think that the probability for Happy should be high that he goes Command Center another one now.
Yeah?
And gets high, the probability of that happening.
All right. Well, certainly adding up to it. And there you go. There is that third Command Center.
It's Whirlwind, baby.
It's Whirlwind.
Whirlwind, where money's made, where money grows on trees in the early game.
Well, they're able to
minerals,
flourish.
I suppose I should say, where mineral grows on trees.
Minerals grow on trees. Yeah, man. That'll be a cool-looking tree, actually, now that I think about it.
Crystal light. And then you have a Hellbat underneath it, making like a little barbecue.
With his little new blue flame.
His new blue flames.
It's all color coordinated and everything. Waving it from side to side. Rock with you, man. Rock with you. Anyway, for now...
Do you know which unit would make the best unit at a concert?
Which?
Hellbats.
Hellbats?
All of them synced up, waving arm to arm. They'd clearly be at a Robbie Williams concert. Or maybe even a Michael Jackson concert.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man, that would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet. Anyway, Robot Facility's going down for TitaN, so he's sticking to his bread and butter. He's sticking to his guns. like it. What's Happy up to? He's only gone 2 barracks.
I mean,
Yeah.
Happy, I mean, how much scouting info does he have, if any?
Happy, he has... Well,
Okay, so he's seen Nexus first, so he knows it's Nexus first, but he doesn't know the follow-up from this.
yeah.
Yeah.
TitaN just moving out with his scout as well. What is he going to be able to see? I don't really think he's going to see much in his opponent's base. These Marines are going to be like, leave me alone, and then just instantly push him on back. So.
I definitely feel like one of these Marines should be called like Little Susie.
Yeah? Which one? If you had to pick one, the one in the bunker?
Yeah.
This one? Well,
that's the one I was referring to.
Ah, okay. Oh.
But Zella does make their way in.
Little Susie's not doing a job. Push him back.
The Zella gets in there, kind of pulls a couple of SCVs away from the middle line and whatnot. Gets an SCV kill. But the biggest point here is that it's double engineering bay coming down from Happy, which is very standard from a 3 command center play because he does have so much money. He's playing very greedy at this point. But it's more so TitaN getting an Immortal. And this is kind of like a personal preference. Just one Immortal before he goes over to Colossus. Interesting.
He seems to find great security in this, and I like it. I like the idea of this. I wonder if he's going to go Observer Speed again, because I really felt that despite losing so many Observers, it paid for itself, you know? How much medevac damage was done? How many medevac drop damage was done there in that first game? Not really that much. Very, very good denial.
The Observer kind of needs to kind of pick up the 3rd command center scout. Because he doesn't know about that yet. I mean, sure, he got into the natural and saw a little bit, but ideally he'd like to know precisely what he's playing against because it does entail something different, like taking a faster 3rd Nexus or something along those lines. But it seems to like he is going to take a fast 3rd Nexus anyway here.
Yeah,
it is risky, but in these circumstances, it's really, really good.
And just the thing is, though, I think he might actually spot this very, very quickly with this Marine. He scans. Where did he scan just then? Oh, he must have tried to spot an observer. Yes, he did spot an observer that was in his main and killed that off pretty darn quickly. But he saw this timing of the starport. He knows what's going on. And from the timing of the starport, I think he could probably determine that 3rd command center might be down.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. He doesn't know if it's down there or not, but he knows it's somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's where that probe, probably going to throw down a couple of pylons up to the top right and then go scout. Or scout. Okay, there it is. So pylon, then scout. That's going to be the harassing point for TitaN in this game. But with no Nexus down yet. 3 more gateways. What's his probe count exactly?
52.
52 is a little bit high for this. But I haven't actually been looking too precisely on what he's doing here.
Could he go for the double Colossus Thermal Lance push here with...
ideally, the probe count should be lower, but yes, he still can.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 2 Immortals and a Colossus here with another Colossus on the way. That's the weird thing about TitaN, is that he has weird builds. As mentioned earlier, he has his own style. Happy sees that, well, he scans the natural, right? And he saw no army, and he also sees no 3rd base. Anywhere. There's Marines on both bases, and he's like, what? There's a Marine stimming to the middle, and it's like, I'm looking in his vision, kills the probes, sees the army, glimpse
just
on the minimap. You definitely would have seen that. A glimpse on the right-hand side, already evacuating from the 3rd command center. That small glimpse gives him enough, combined with the 2 Marines on the 3rd base, that an attack is coming. Bunker's coming down, he's evacuating.
Very, very good reaction times here by Happy and got the information he needed to. That being said, though, his 3rd, I mean, the buildings that are there right now are gone. If TitaN wants to kill those off, they are gone. And Happy, realizing that, just has to fall back, keep his command center alive. And as you said, no 3rd Nexus. He knows that with the 2 Marines that are already positioned well.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to make work, I think. With SCVs, I mean, there's only 2 Vikings, though. That's kind of the good part, but there are 2 more coming in. Once the Colossus goes down, everything else will follow very shortly. 1-1 upgrades versus 1-1 as well. But a lot of bunkers, man, with a lot of SCVs here. I can't see this being broken. Pro production begins again. Another Colossus is added on. He's just going to probably throw down a Nexus and the Twilight Council soon. Yeah. Just to continue going.
You can't break this. Well, I mean, you could, in a slim, very, very slim chance, but I don't really think it's going to work out too well. And he is going to send that probe down there, but hello,
Happy
Marine.
Sees it. He knows. So now with that probe in there, he knows that this plan's already been stopped. Like, he may continue through, but the plan is already, I don't think this is going to work. The confidence level of this attack, in Happy's eyes, just plummeted.
He does have that high ground vision, so he's going to pick away slowly at one of those supply depots, killing it off. And he's actually going to go for it, but the Zealots aren't positioned well here. They're all the way behind these Stalkers. Time Warps goes down as well. The Vikings move on forwards to try and kill off the Colossi. They've already killed the Mothership Core. I don't think he can break this.
I don't think so either. I mean, the bunker still stands. There's Vikings still churning away onto the Colossus, and that's pushed back easily. And now with +2 attack on this Bioforce, without a third Nexus, the biggest problem that TitaN finishes, without a third Nexus, there is no Twilight Council and there is no even hope of getting over to a Templar Archive within the next 3 minutes and getting Storm ready. So if I'm Happy, which you probably won't listen to Coach Apollo because only a few people do, and that's actually very limited. Only a very, very small amount of people do. And it's usually crazy people like Stefano who listen to me. But what I would do right now is pull every single SCV and just go. Just go, because he's never going to have Storm here.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he's got +3 attack on the way and +2. Maybe he could go then. But without Storm or with a high enough Viking count, the Terran army can usually never be stopped.
Yeah, this is... I mean, he's swapping in aggressively still here. So TitaN, by the looks of things, he is going to go eventually. The 2 Marines that were spotting the thirds did die off, but Harassment entering the third base, whilst he finds a location to engage here with his army. He's actually positioned Happy's army in a bit of a disadvantageous position for Happy.
Remember that this is still a 2-base attack. There is no third Nexus, there's no follow-up. It's still the same attack, just later.
The Zealots are still behind these Stalkers. That's really not helping him. He needs those at the front to actually tank things. And the damage, I mean, it's already been done here by Happy. He is doing very, very well against this assault. And TitaN kind of down and out here in game number 2.
All right, I reckon that fight would have gone a little bit different in favor of TitaN. Not the overall fight, but the way that it just went would have gone better for TitaN if he didn't have the Zealots at the back there.
Yeah. They would have tanked so much and actually also done damage. Huge, huge differences in that engagement could have occurred. But now TitaN, I guess he's just going to try and fall back and... I mean, he's not producing probes still. Oh, there we go. There's the Nexus.
Well, he hasn't produced probes, as in he built a couple, then stopped and attacked again, then built a couple, stopped, attacked again. So it's been really disjointed, I'd like to say this attack is. When you watch the top-tier Koreans, it's very precise. 48 probes, 3 Colossus, die, I mean, like kill or die trying, basically. But that really wasn't the case in this game, as it was deflected. And now TitaN finds himself in a very difficult position where, I mean, the army supply is in favor of Happy. The upgrades, oh boy, the upgrades. +3 attack and +2 armor, about to complete when that's just +2 attack on the way with +1 armor already banked in.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal upgrade advantage here for him with that 2-2 just finished up. And now TitaN, I mean, the Templar Archive's going down, which is technically what he needs. But can he actually gather all the momentum that he needs here to actually shut this down? Because if Happy moves across the map with these Vikings and this army, there's only 2 Colossus there and really not that many Zealots. He drops the scan and sees everything.
Yep, you pretty much just attack into this. Got to be careful not to attack with just the Vikings here.
Yep.
But with the upgrades that he has, they are so incredibly good. +3 attack and +2 armor. Happy as though buying his time. He's going to drop inside the main base, realizing that's a very small army all out in the middle, expecting an assault. So he does the opposite and drops in the main base. And then we'll probably go to the third, maybe look for a cancel if he's able to pull his opponent out of position with the drop first. So I think he'll wait. I don't think he'll rush into this one on the left-hand side.
Oh, that Templar Archives is so vulnerable as well here.
All right, so now left-hand side. Yeah, left-hand side now. Nice 1-2 attack.
Kaboom.
This is going to be really nice.
And next, Templar Archives does go down. He could even get the Nexus as well. And then at the left-hand side here, zoning things out. The planetary, the Mothership Core actually fell there, so even no photon overcharge on that Nexus either.
Didn't look like he wanted to commit there into that army. As he continues his drops here. Very patient play from Happy, I'd like to say. Very patient, actually. Definitely could have just been very aggressive and impatient and throw everything at his opponent with SCVs like I love to do, man. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong in my game.
It's a fun strat. It's a fun strat. Well, Hellbats do get caught off guard here, but meanwhile, double drops. So that's going to kill off a lot of probes. And meanwhile, well, the two Colossi holding on strong here at the back, despite a gateway going down. And TitaN, it feels as if he's kind of just had enough. This is his time. He's going to try and make it work.
Yeah, he's trying to make it work, but I don't think it's possible at this point, as TitaN is going to have to face the real army soon. There's an army on his natural, an army defending back at home.
A lot of bio here, shredding up those zealots very, very quickly. They don't really have the armor to actually deal with that. Colossi will shut down this drop in the end, so not too bad. Even the Vikings landing here to give him the extra firepower to kill this off, but look at those army supplies. 93 to 50 with that third base still up and running. Well, Zealot's not doing too bad.
I mean, look at TitaN. There's no third base, lost his main nexus, has no Templar archives, has quite mediocre upgrades. And Happy is still on 3 command centers, has fantastic upgrades on the other hand here.
Yeah.
And is looking to push forward to kind of finish the game eventually. Taking it slow, but taking it steady.
Slow and steady, man. It wins the race in the end here for Happy. It's been his forte for a long, long time here. And now TitaN, well, how actually can he come back? He has 2 Colossi, 1 Archon. No means by which to actually warp in any more High Templars because his Templar Archives was killed off. There's not enough AoE.
Not enough AoE and just not a large enough army or economy. It's a difficult situation to be in, but his strategy this game was very clear.
Oh, yeah.
A 2-base kind of attack that didn't work, and now he's paying the price.
And Happy here drops the scan, sees his opponent's army, knows that he has the advantage. No force fields here for the Protoss. There you go. GG for game number 2. Happy ties up the series 1-1. That means we go on to game number 3.
Yes, we do. So tied apiece with one more game between these two players to decide who moves on to the winners match of this group. Remember, the other 2 competitors within this group is Sortov and Todd, which will be our second best of 3 of the evening in, I don't know, whenever this next game finishes, not too far down the line.
To emphasize what you were saying, though, about a clear-cut strategy that he was going into this game for doing with that 2-base timing, that's also kind of pointed out by the fact that in game 1, he goes for that observer speed, keeping an eye on Medivacs for longer throughout the game. I don't want to be dropped. I don't want to take damage early. I want a really strong macro focus behind that. This game doesn't get that, alleviating that gas expenditure to do other things. I mean, it's a small, small detail that we can see from a observing point of view for the observers. But here in game number 3, well, we'll see what he wants to do.
Newkirk is the map here. And I think this is a map which really favors Happy.
Yeah.
I think it's very cut down the middle, which is what he loves. Belcher Vestige, not so much. Whirlwind, not so much either. This map, though, cut down the middle, and that's how he likes it. Planetary Fortress, turrets, ghosts, Vikings, long, long game. And the problem is for TitaN, coming into this next map, is does he try to crack the uncrackable in the early stages, or does he go into where Happy is best?
No, man. I think that if TitaN went for the macro focus again and used the observer speed to his advantage and tried to spot Medivacs, that could help him out. A lot of dead air. Obviously, those Medivacs are going to be coming. Obviously, they're going to be trying to pose a threat here on Newkirk Precinct. So the guys are good to go into game number 3. As the countdown has begun once again. So, guys, this is the final group of the round of 32 to determine the last 2 players moving on to the round of 16. I'm so excited because at the end of the broadcast as well, we get to see.
Yes, the round of 16. The round of 16 will find out who is playing who. The players will know who they are playing. We get to know. We get excited about it. That's going to be pretty cool, and of course that'll be happening as soon as we finish with the final match of the evening.
All right, game number 3, spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, tying things up as our blue Terran. He is Empire Happy. And spawning down to the bottom right as our red Protoss. Crazy, crazy man, he is Rock's Kiss TitaN.
Rockish TitaN. Both players here from Russia. And as you said, both players, you know, really well respected in the StarCraft 2 scene, but neither of them with major results offline. Online, great, they've done well, but Happy is or was, should I say, such a good player when it came to playing offline in the olden days when he played Warcraft 3. He got a 3rd place at BlizzCon, at World Cyber Games. He got a 4th place at another World Cyber Games and ESWC. Never really won a tournament, but he was always a very high finisher. So it's very surprising to me that he isn't that same kind of person when it comes to playing StarCraft 2 offline, where he does struggle with whatever he has to deal with.
Well, in the end now, here in game number 3, Happy, I think, those struggles, been relieved here. Found himself that draw in game 2. And now TitaN, again, I would love to see the macro from him. I don't think a 2-base player is going to break Happy. I really don't. Happy is very, very good about that defense. Very good indeed.
Yeah, Happy's pretty solid when it comes to dealing with attacks early on. I remember him going up against Baby Knight, and it really was just a clash of styles when it comes to defender versus the aggressor. And Baby Knight just got slapped down very easily to a certain extent there in the last season of WCS. Looking at their respective WCS points, TitaN's at 75, rank 75 in the system, and Happy is 34, if that's correct. 34, of course, is because of his performance in last season's Europe Premier League. Could have been and should have been a lot higher, to a lot of people's argument, with his games against Demaga.
He's one of those top contenders from the European scene to represent Europe, maybe going into that season final. If Empire Happy can string a lot of good results together in these seasons, then maybe he can accrue enough points. It's going to be a tall order, though. I think he may even have to gain some points outside of the WCS seasons. And that's always been a hard thing for Happy. Oh, but he skipped the Zealot.
But, there's the Engineering Bay. Yeah. That's a little bit of annoyance. Sometimes, StarCraft is so simple. It is very much so like black and white. You build a Zealot or you don't. You build an Engineering Bay or you don't. It's very, very simple in this regard. The Engineering Bay is down. The Zealot isn't. Which means it's going to be a lot longer for him to take an expansion. What does he do in retaliation? Does he No. No.
What?
No.
What? TitaN.
By God.
Well,
by God.
I guess this relies on it not being scouted out ever for a while. Oh, geez.
Well, this is the greatest show on Earth today.
Seemingly.
Well, he has put an expansion in somewhere else. Like, this is not going to be an easy game. The thing is he going to really get it? Is Happy going to get it, is what I'm trying to say.
Game paused.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. In
Anyway.
Germany, we say kein Problem.
Keine Problem.
Keine Problem.
Or, das ist kaputt. Either one.
Does he throw down imagine if he threw down very shortly a 3rd Nexus, man, I'd lose my mind.
I think he might do.
You think? He's got a very early Forge.
If you go for a Nexus at the front...
This just kind of repeats what we said earlier about TitaN. Is he just has his own builds.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of build is one gateway? Oh, it's blocked. Let's put it down there and then build a Forge. And then, +1 arm and a robotics facility on the side.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
He really is banking that Happy doesn't scout this.
Entirely. Right, well, +1 weapons is coming out for Happy as well. If Chrono Boosts are focused down on the armor, then it technically will finish quicker, but once those two finish up, they will equal out one another. And a hallucinated Oracle. I like this from TitaN. It might scare Happy for just a little bit.
A scan in the middle of the base reveals pretty much nothing. The biggest scary point about all of this is, the Oracle's going to go in. It's going to freak him out a little bit, but it shouldn't really do anything at all. There's a turret in each mineral line, or at least in the main base. What does Happy do? Does he freak out?
Seemingly.
Oh, he moved his SCVs a little bit. Did hinder his gas income. He's not mining from that left gas in his base. So it did pull off a little bit. But the big problem is, let's just think from Protoss brain, a Protoss mind.
Protoss brain.
You're on your natural. It's coming to the 10-minute mark and the Terran's coming at you. He drops you in your main, and you force field the ramp or whatever on the natural. You know, dividing your army up in 2 locations. First problem, you're dividing along a much larger area.
Yeah.
From main all the way down to the 3rd. Next problem, there's no ramps. How the hell are you force fielding anything to keep anything out from there? There is no way to protect your Colossus from the Vikings that can shoot from the top of the building next to that new base. This becomes very difficult, very fast, and Happy's just going to go down and see this. To him, this may be a 3rd base.
Maybe, yeah.
This, I don't even know what he's thinking right now. Does he think this is normal? Is that his 2nd base? Is that the 3rd? Is it really weird? Because if you look in Happy's vision, inside the main, it's just 1 gateway. And now a Nexus in this location?
It's a hard read to make here for Happy. What does he do? Does he end up, I think, maybe trying to go for some drop aggression once this Starpot's finished up to try and get that intel? Yeah, it would be weird to send a scan for there.
He's got to test the water now.
Yeah.
And get out there ASAP. ASAP. As soon as the medivacs, he has to go. Even leave the base before the medivacs are ready and just boost the medivacs. Because this is very, very important for Happy's tournament life. He's not meant to lose this game.
And the Templar Archives is going to go down behind this as well. So TitaN deviating things up a bit in terms of his tech and trying to make this work. These Marines and Marauder over here actually moving into a position to actually assault this. Photon Overcharge should push them back. I don't think they're going to do the damage.
Well, it depends where all the units are. There is Photon Overcharge. TitaN's trying to be in the middle. It's like a squash court, the T. You're in the middle, you can go left, you can go right immediately. That's what he was trying to set up there. And he does swing down to the left. The medivacs are coming in. Combat Shield's not ready. There's a lot of gateways, though, behind this. TitaN knows that he had to build a lot of gateways because there's going to be a lot of pressure.
Medivacs boosting into the base here, and actually the...
Ooh, feedbacks. I mean, okay, never mind. I was going to say feedbacks, but
yeah,
the medivacs aren't even...
Yeah. And actually, well, there they go, the feedbacks. The architecture here of this base isn't really the best here for TitaN to bring all of his troops back. It's going to be so hard to defend both of these locations. Immortal does go down, as well as the Archon. These Marines, Photon Overcharge will eventually push this back, but the army at the front here for Happy also poised for that 3rd base.
Well, it's only a handful of Marines without combat shields, without plus-1 armor. So far, so good defense, though, right? Pretty good. I wonder if Happy's stressing out over this a little bit, saying, God, I can't believe he's got this so early. With 20 supply lead here for TitaN. The Ghost Academy is on its way down, and Happy should be taking his 3rd base. I mean, it's not in a bad position, but he is playing, I would say, from a little bit of behind. Look at the supply. I mean, the economy's the same. The army's much more larger here for TitaN.
Yeah. And the medevac drops once again. He has a few units here to push that away, though. Along with the Mothership Core, it's a bit annoying to fully deal with Zealot Stalker and that Mothership Core. So that drop didn't really do too much here. TitaN with that supply advantage still.
And then with the Warp Prism headed into the main base of Happy too, if he times this well, and I wonder what the best timing for this is.
Ooh. Got himself a Stalker. Army moving out into the middle here for TitaN. I guess he's going to try and draw the units back with the Warp Prism and then poke at the front if he actually wants to move out.
I think that reveals it too easily. I mean, you need something to pull him to the front and then in the main, not to do both.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around? Is the Warp Prism the distraction?
I think
it's been spotted.
Well, we'll see if it's able
but
to
so
work
is the
out.
army in the middle of the map here. Remember, there's a lot of units behind this. 15 Zealots in total on the map. Pro production is stopped, +2 armors on its way. No Storm, just Archons.
As the Zealots being dropped in the mineral line here as well, so...
It's going to be hard to defend against here for Happy. Major Zealots in the main base, evacuation on the 3rd.
Only 1 bunker at the front. He does have the full wall off with those supply depots, but still. Actually, I think that Zealot could slip through that little gap in between those supply depots. But anyway, these Zealots still doing the damage they want to do. Good position for that Hellbat, but in the end, actually, he gets pushed up against a Marauder. Marine dies.
Yeah, I mean, this... I wonder if he can break the front, though. I mean, if he doesn't break the front, he's just going to continue to warp in the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, until there's enough units to defend the main. And then he comes through the front.
He's refusing to leave that front location here, but I don't know whether that's wise or not. These Zealots are actually doing a lot of damage here. Happy, he needs to clean this up. He has to clean this up, otherwise TitaN's going to win this series.
130 supply to 71. He's dedicating more units into the main base now. Scans and says, all right, there's your army. I kind of need to defend 2 locations.
Oh, TitaN, you want to be starting something, but actually has to pull back, though, once again here. Bunker holds on. Happy has to pull back. There's so many workers have already died. 22 right now, unit counts, 55 to 36. TitaN is in a great spot in terms of his economy.
I mean, I'm just watching this, waiting for TitaN to find an area that he can win the game in, but it doesn't look like it's going to be possible. But he's crippled his opponent with this attack. Happy's down to 32 SCVs. His command center still in his main base. The third Nexus has been taken. And this is the way that TitaN's going to, if he does make his way through the group today, this is how he's going to do it. Weird builds, awkward timings that just nobody really gets.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to play against. A play like TitaN is incredibly difficult to play against.
I'm going to try and complete this wall off as well, pulling all the SCVs. This is really, really annoying for Happy. He's lost a lot of SCVs, and now he has to keep pulling them off to try and defend this location. His economy, in comparison to TitaN's, is just not there. He needs it.
I really believe if Happy loses this game, it's going to be such a heartbreaking, man. This is going to be painful.
And that bunker goes down so fast, along with the storm that finished up just in time as he moves across the map. Wasn't done as he was moving, but... And the Warp Prism's still there, showing that there's legit threat at the back. So Happy is being strong left and right at the moment. Look, the little gap.
And he pushes his way through. The Zealots just, like ants, getting their way through. And, I mean, there is just blood on the dance floor. Look at it. You can see the Marines are dying everywhere. And Happy, he is going to lose this game. How can he not with a great storm like that on the ramp?
Wow.
134 supply to 50.
TitaN, man, you rock my world. This has been a fantastic series. Killing off SCV after SCV, breaking the natural. Takes the first series in this group off a top 8 finisher in Season 1. TitaN playing so well here to begin things.
And this just really screws the group up.
It does.
Like, to be blatant there, it screws the group up because this wasn't meant to happen for a lot of people watching this group today. TitaN was meant just to lose versus Happy, and Happy was to go through first place, and then there were going to be these 3 contenders, challenges to take the second slot. But what the hell has now happened in this group with TitaN opening up the first game of the evening, the first series of the evening, with a victory over Russian rival Happy as he calls down that last mule to try and get as little bit of an income as he can. But it doesn't matter, TitaN.
Fantasy GG timing, throws down the scan here for the 4th base. GG, he's had enough. We've had enough of this series. It's done. TitaN advances on to challenge for that first round of 16 spot.
Yeah, this is a remarkable change from how he played in Season 1, where he didn't quite make it through, but he was close with narrow losses to Thorzane, and then that win as well in the middle of everything there. I think he was against not Slivko. TitaN played in the same group as Thorzane, and then he also lost versus... Back me up here!
My notes.
Statman.
I was on a different page. Okay.
Statman.
Wait, I've got it.
He lost one game.
Wait.
Ret. Was it Ret?
It was Ret.
Yes.
He won the Ret game and then lost to Thorzane twice.
Oh.
Wah, wah, wah.
Almost there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is now an interesting turn of events here, which is, you know, kind of funny because Todd versus Sort of now, the winner of that is playing against a player they probably weren't expecting to play against.
Yeah. And we'll get into that series after the commercial break, guys. So join us in just a little bit for the second series of the night. It's going to be Todd versus Sort of.